Cush interrupted, Mammalean, can you stop for a minute? I got to use the bathroom. That tuna went right through me. Pulling over, Mammalean said, it might have been that damn mayo someone left out of the icebox. I'll finish when you get back. Cush said as he hid behind some bushes. So far, it doesn't sound like a love story I'm used to hearing, unless Dasinga was gay. Mammalean laughed, no child, there is more than the love you have for your wife. Plus, Ron played a big part in Dasinga's relationship with Decay. They were only friends, and Ron never approached Dasinga in that way. Ron loved Dasinga like a real brother. He was the first straight man who didn't look down on him because he was gay. But if you hurry, I'll finish telling you. Cush was silent for a minute, then said, looks like I'm going to be a while, Mammalean. Mammalean waited for a few minutes and said, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Cush said, for real, Mammalean? Right now, while I'm using it? Cush hesitated, who is Nelson Mandela? Cush said, on a mission, your worst enemy is idle time. Mammalean replied, who is Nipsey Hussle? Mammalean then asked, you can't make decisions based on fear and the possibility of what might happen. It was a few seconds later, Cush replied, who is Michelle Obama? Cush, in turn, said, if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies, for me and eaten alive, Mammalean said. I can't remember that one, Cush said. Audre Lorde, writer, feminist, womanist, librarian, and civil rights activist. Okay, it's still my turn then. Start where you are with what you have. Make something of it and never be satisfied. Mammalean said, okay, I know that one, who is George Washington Carver? She thought, I prayed for 20 years but received no answer until I prayed with my legs. Walking out of the bushes and zipping up his pants, Cush said, who is Frederick Douglass? He headed to the back of the wagon and washed his hands. I needed that. Shaking her head, Mammalean said. I hope you done used up a gallon of water to wash your doggone hands. That's water for these horses. Now, come on here, let's go. Mammalean thought for a minute, okay, as I was saying, you know that there's more than one type of love, don't you, son? Cush said. I know of a few. Mammalean shook her head, well, let me tell you all of them so you won't be confused. There are about 8 different types of love people can have for one another. There's agape, spelled A-G-A-P-E, a selfless, unconditional love. Eros, spelled E-R-O-S, which is passionate, physical, and romantic love. It expresses sexual passion and desire. Philia, spelled P-H-I-L-I-A, it's affectionate love. It is the love you feel for your friends or platonic love without sexual acts. And then there's Philatia, spelled P-H-I-L-A-U-T-I-A, self-love. Most people think self-love is narcissistic, selfish, or stuck on themselves. However, self-love is not unhealthy. It's necessary to give and receive love from other people. We cannot give to others what we don't have. If we don't love ourselves, how can we genuinely love others? Storge, spelled S-T-O-R-G-E, that's familiar love. It feels like philia, but this love is more like a parent-child love or the kind you have for a best friend. Then there's pragma, spelled P-R-A-G-M-A, is the love me and my husband had. It's enduring love, the opposite of eros. See, Eros's love burns out quickly because of its passion and intensity. However, pragma is a love that has matured and developed over time. The old married couples who have been together since their teenage years and still hold hands, this kind of love almost became existed. This type of love doesn't require a lot of effort in a relationship. Both people are good at making compromises, and each of them puts in equal measures to make the other person happy. Mammalean stared into space for a minute and swiped a single tear from her eye. Oh baby, Mammalean, sorry, got to thinking, that's all. Cush said, it's okay. Then she continued. Ludus, spelled L-U-D-U-S, which is playful love, a feeling of infatuation in the early days of romance. If you've been in love before, you know what I'm talking about. It's the butterflies in your stomach, the giddiness you feel when you see your love walk through the door, and the feeling of never wanting to be without them. And lastly, it's mania love, M-A-N-I-A, which is obsessive love, not necessarily a friendly type of love because it is obsessive. This type of love can lead someone into madness, jealousy, or even anger. That's because the balance between eros and ludus is terribly off. Many people who experience this type of love suffer from low self-esteem. They fear losing the object of their love, and this fear compels them to say or do some crazy-ass shit to keep them. If not kept under control, mania can be very destructive sometimes. Cush then said, "Okay, Mammalean, you and Mr. Valley have ludus love for one another." Mammalean embarrassed, "Hush your mouth, me and Valley are just friends." Cush said, "Mammalean? You both are old, and he is always calling you ma'am, Mammalean, with a strange look, so? He's the only one you tell to quit saying ma'am to. Don't you think love can be found with him?" Cush was being nice, for he knew she needed love just like anyone else, but Mammalean just said, "I ain't old, I'm mature, that's all, mature, you remember that." Cush laughed, "You are old to me," then he smiled and sarcastically said, "I'll explain that to you later," and they both laughed.